guys, this is Kalara Hudson of While They Play Designs, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to create a double brim. So if you look at this hat here, you can see that our brim has a double thickness. We pull the work apart, you can see that there's two sides of this brim. We've folded it together and then created a seam, as it were, and then knitted the rest of our hat. And if you take a look at the inside, you can see that this is seamless. You can't tell where we folded our brim together and attached the two sides. So I'm going to show you how to create this double brim on your hat. So here I have my hat, and I have just used a longtail cast on for this 1x1 rib, and this is how we'll be joining our brim. So I worked 1x1 rib, and I worked it double the height that I want my hat brim to be. So in the hat that I showed you, that was 2 inches tall, so I just doubled that and worked to 4 inches for this brim. Now we've reached the end of our round, and I'm just going to remove my beginning of round marker. And if you don't use a beginning of round marker, you will want to use it for when you join your double brim. I'm going to set that to the side. And what we're going to want to use first is a locking stitch marker. So what we're going to do is we're going to locate the first stitch of our next round, which is the knit stitch right here. And we're going to follow that knit stitch all the way down to our cast on. And we're going to use this locking stitch marker to pick up the strand of that long tail cast on. Get this where you can see it a little better. There's the strand that's just below our knit stitch. We've picked that up with our locking stitch marker, and now we're going to lock it closed. Okay, now we're going to fold our brim wrong sides facing each other. So just like this. Fold that brim to the inside of your hat so that your long tail cast on is behind the live stitches on your needle. Now we're going to use that locking stitch marker to pull up that strand that we locked into place, and using our left hand needle tip, we're going to go in front to back into that strand, placing it onto our left hand needle. Now we can remove that locking stitch marker. We're done with that. Now we want to take our beginning of round marker and place that on the right hand needle. This will just make it easier for you as you're picking up and joining the brim together to know where you're going to stop. So now that we have that beginning of round marker in place, we can go to our left hand needle tip, and we can see the strand that we picked up and the first knit stitch of our round. And we're going to work these 2 stitches together with a knit 2 together. So we'll pick up our working yarn, and we'll go in through those 2 stitches left to right and work our knit 2 together. So now we've joined that first stitch of the round with the first cast on from our long tail cast on. Now our next stitch in the round is a purl stitch. So we're going to go ahead and put our working yarn out of the way. Here's the tail from our cast on. And at this point, I would go ahead, make it a little shorter if you want to, but I'm just going to tuck it inside this double brim that I'm creating because we want to lock that into place. Go ahead and pull it over here. There we go. So we're going to keep that sandwiched, as it were, between these 2 layers. Okay, so now, as I said, our second stitch of the round is a purl stitch. So we're going to rotate our work. You can see the strand that I already picked up is below this knit stitch. Here's the purl stitch, and we're going to pick up the strand below that purl stitch, which is right here. You can see the next stitch is a knit stitch, and that's the strand for that one. So we're picking up the purl stitch strand. Now we can rotate our work and place that strand back on our left hand needle. Pick up our working yarn again, and we're going to knit those 2 stitches together, just as we did before. So now we have 2 stitches that are joined to the cast on. And our next stitch is a knit stitch. So again, we'll rotate our work to the back, and you can locate, there's the knit stitch, and there's the strand below it. So just remember, when you pick up that strand, you want your working yarn to the back, so that's out of your way. So there's our knit stitch, there's the strand below it. Pick that up, place it on our left-hand needle, and then we'll knit 2 stitches together, just like so. Next stitch is a purl stitch. So turn your work. You can see we went through this knit stitch here. Locate the purl stitch, which is right there. Pick up the strand below it and place that on your left-hand needle and knit 2 together. So we're just going to continue this all the way around, and now and then you'll want to just fold your brim up to the inside like so. You can even use your locking stitch marker to attach the 2 sides. Go through both lengths, and then just remove that when you get over to this part of your hat. But basically, this is how we join that double brim. So the next stitch is a knit, rotate your work, locate the knit stitch, pick up the cast on strand below the knit stitch, place it on your left-hand needle, and knit 2 together. So I'm going to work my way around this hat, and when we get to the very last stitch, we will know it's the last stitch because we placed our beginning of round marker. So I'll see you when we get to that point. Okay, so you can see that I've reached my last 4 stitches of my round. So again, I have a knit stitch, go to the back, there's the knit stitch, there's the strand below the knit stitch, place it on my left-hand needle, and knit those 2 stitches together. Next stitch is a purl, turn my work, kind of hard to see, but there's the purl, and there's the strand below the purl. Place that on my left-hand needle, and knit these 2 stitches together. Knit stitch, turn my work, there's the knit stitch, there's the strand below the knit stitch, place it on my left-hand needle, and knit these 2 stitches together. So last stitch, purl stitch. This is the part that can be tricky. Get this where you can see it. There's the purl stitch, and there's the strand below the purl stitch. Right there. So place that on our left-hand needle, like that. And now we'll knit these last 2 stitches together. And there we go. So we've reached our beginning of round marker. You can just slip that, and I'll stop and show you guys what our folded brim looks like. So as we folded this brim and worked it together with our cast on, we just created 1 round of knit stitches. And then the inside is a purl stitch. So at this point, you can just continue working your hat, whether that's stockinette, cable, more ribbing. I hope this video and this technique helps you guys out. Thanks so much for watching.